Now we're joined with Lou DiBella. Lou, first of all, congratulations, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you. I haven't been seen that much lately.
Yeah,
actually.
no. Well, let's talk about what's your thoughts. First of all, what's your thoughts on getting into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame?
I'm very, very honored, you know. It's my 7th Hall of Fame, honestly. But I thought it was very important to be here, and I think that weekends like this, the way the sport is changing, are becoming more and more important. It's that the history of the sport is getting lost in the shuffle. And the boxing that I grew up in, that created who I am, that allowed me to be who I am, that allowed me to buy 2 baseball teams, that allowed me to have the career I've had, I don't know that it exists anymore. It's so different. And, you know, it's funny because when I got in, Steve called me and he said, you know, Lou, you're going to get in, but you got to promise me you're coming. I said, Steve, I will be there no matter what. I will be there. I'm actually leaving for Italy on Monday. I moved my trip around. I made sure I could come here because I think more than ever it's important that boxing people recognize other boxing people, that the sport that the people here, the sport that the people who are celebrating this weekend grew up in and watched and love. So many of the people that are guys that run gyms, like Steve, who runs this Hall of Fame, but Steve, who's run a boxing gym forever, who's one of the good guys. When I come back to St. Pete, I remember an old friend of mine who's deceased, the great Ben Getty, who had a gym here in Tampa. These are the guys that raised me in the sport. That's how I learned boxing. And, you know, my boxing life started as a 5, 6-year-old kid watching Nino Benvenuti on TV with my grandfathers. And then when I first saw Muhammad Ali, like as a 6-year-old kid, I said, "Who is like the guy was so good-looking and well-spoken," and I was like in love, and like that was my first hero, and I picked the right hero.
You certainly did.
I picked the right hero, and that really is what started my life in boxing. But the boxing I see today, man, I don't have the same love for. I have the same love for a lot of the fighters, but a lot of the fighters don't have the same mentality of the guys I promoted and I was used to. Fighters fight once or twice a year. Fighters sit back and call each other out, motherfuck one another, say horrible things constantly, out there shitting on each other. But are they out there fighting 3, 4 times a year? No. Are they calling out the best? No. Like and then you got to subscribe to 17 different places at exorbitant amounts of money to watch the fights. You used to get on HBO, Showtime, ESPN, and everywhere else. But you know what? We're responsible. The guys like me. Like hey, I mean, I can't sit there and point to other people. I was one of the top promoters of this business since I left HBO in 2000 for 25 years. But you know what? We left the sport a fucking shit show, and we didn't treat boxing like a television property. We didn't work together appropriately. We didn't create a television product that had a bunch of businessmen working in unison to sell something to the networks and the streaming services that they really wanted. And we opened the door for bullshit. We opened the door for nonsense. We opened the door for Jake Paul. We opened the door for an MMA guy to get off to fight a boxer and then have the best heavyweights in the world like Usyk and Fury look like dog shit because they didn't prepare 5 seconds, got off their couches and got into the ring with a fucking great, with a guy. Look, that guy, that kickboxer that just
Rico Van Hooven?
Dude, he gave fucking Usyk hell.
I know.
They shouldn't have stopped that fight. By the way, he probably would have lost anyway. But you know what? The kid's not a boxer. He sucks. He's a mediocre boxer. You know what he is? A fighter. The kickboxer was a real fighter. And if you're going to get off your couch and you're going to fight a bigger man who's a real fighter, who has a fighting spirit, who knows how to stand up and throw punches. Yes, he's a kickboxer, but that man knows how to fight. He knows the mentality of fighting.
Yeah, but Lou, you know what I said about him, and you know why I think he gave Usyk so much trouble?
What?
Is he did something that fighters don't do today.
What?
Move his head.
Well, no. First of all, the kid was impressive for a guy that's really not a fighter.
And I think he was winning that fight.
Well, it was damn close. No, he was winning the fight.
He was winning the fight easily.
The tide was turning. He was winning the fight, and I think he might have gotten stopped in the next round.
I don't dispute that. He should have got the chance.
Dude, he was winning.
Right.
He was winning
100%.
the fight. And I love Usyk. He's a great fucking fighter. That was a disgrace the same way Tyson Fury was a disgrace against Ngannou. Neither one of them trained. Neither one of them took it seriously. They both took the Saudi Arabian money. I don't call anyone but Jesus Christ or God Almighty His Excellency. Sorry.
No,
I'm not calling anybody His Excellency. Bro.
Listen,
I'll leave the sport before I start calling someone His Excellency.
So you made a point, all right, And my question is, as far as promoters go, okay,
Yeah.
you had to promote, just like I mentioned Jimmy Birchfield. You know, you guys actually promoted.
The guys taking money from Turkey aren't promoting. They're just but you
no,
know what they
but
did?
the fighters are promoting themselves
No,
through
but not
social
now.
media.
Who's come on? Who? How many of them are
Ryan Garcia.
Okay, that's one. And by the way, he deserves to make the money he's making because
of that.
As much as a mess as he's been at times. I actually love Ryan.
I do
We
too.
don't talk right now because he got pissed off at me because when he went off the rails, I criticized him. But I really think he's a good kid. I think he's very talented, very talented. But you know what? He does understand building a following is everything.
Everything.
You don't have to be loved. You have to have people care about you. If they hate you, it can be as powerful as them loving you for your ability to make money. A lot of people back when, people forget this. A lot of people hated Ali. People forget Mayweather. Probably more people hated Mayweather than loved him.
I agree with that.
Right? But you know what? They wanted to watch him. They knew how damn good he was. And a lot of times they watched him to hope he was lose. He didn't lose because he was too good.
100%.
If Nassim Hamed, I happen to love him. Other people hated him. But he made more money than
best ring entrance on the carpet.
One of the greatest entertainers in the last 50 years in boxing. He was an entertainer. He got it. Other guys back when were social media influencers before there was social media.
Right.
Why do you think Rocky Graziano was a star? You know, there were a lot of guys who were stars for
Hector
being
Camacho.
warriors. Hector Camacho, for being so colorful, for being characters. Boxing always had a lot of characters. It also always had a lot of bad guys too. I mean, there were good guys, there were bad guys. There were always, back when there were more good guys than bad guys. I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I probably would argue right now that there might be more bad guys than good guys. There are more good guys around a weekend like this because the people that are actually running gyms, that are running programs for kids, that are keeping kids away from drugs in the streets, those are the angels of boxing. The motherfuckers that run the business of boxing suck.
They don't know they're not boxing people.
No, they would argue they are, and they're where the money is. And there are people blowing them right now. There are people calling a guy that honestly do the research on Turkey Al Sheikh, and you're going to see a lot of things you don't love. And by the way, it's not his fault. He sees an opening. He's a fan. He has more money than God.
Right.
He's coming in because we left the sport of shambles, and it opened the door for him, and it opened the door for Dana White. You think Dana White loves our sport? You think Dana White really understands our sport? But you know what, man? I'm not going to down Dana White. He's a good businessman. He's run UFC's a tremendous MMA promotion. The laws just changed because his best friend's sitting in the White House, and they laid out a red carpet that's longer than that red carpet on the floor right now. They laid out a red carpet for UFC that they're going to have an easy path to dominating boxing in this country. You know, right now, there's no boxing on HBO. I mean, man, it makes me cry that there's no boxing on HBO, no boxing on Showtime, no boxing, no real boxing. I mean, there's some women's boxing now occasionally on ESPN, but ESPN's not spending real money in boxing any longer. And it sort of breaks my heart because I ain't subscribing to DAZN. I don't give a shit about fights out of England. And I'm not going to keep spending big money and then big money to subscribe to something that is, for an average person, expensive, and they still bang you for big events. And if you want to see, like, their best fights, you have to pay separately for those, and you're paying like $600-700 a year or some crazy number. But I mean, I don't even have DAZN.
Right. Well, one thing before we let you go, baseball.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Two teams.
Baseball's been my heroes when I was 5 and 6, 7, 8, 10 years old were Muhammad Ali, Tom Seaver, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente.
Oh, so you're a Mets fan?
I'm a Mets fan. I was a Willie Mays fan, a big Roberto Clemente fan. But baseball and boxing have been my whole life. Like, they've been, in terms of sports, like they were the sports I loved. So I always wanted to get it. But what people in boxing don't realize is I've had multiple careers for almost 25 years. Like, I've been investing in baseball teams since 2000. So I'm not, like, it's not a new thing to me. I'm 25 years in. Like, people thinking I left boxing again. No, I was in boxing. I was in baseball. I ran my course in boxing. I did everything I could do.
I never knew you had the teams. I just recently found out, like 2 years ago.
Right now, I'm the managing partner and the president of one of the most successful teams in all of minor league baseball, the Richmond Flying Squirrels. We average almost 7,000 people a night in attendance. That's 71 times a year.
That's beautiful.
Right, so 500,000 people come into my baseball games, you know, every year. So it's I love baseball, and,
No.
and I love minor league baseball. I love being able to offer a fun experience to families that's affordable. Politics. There's politics in everything, and I had to build a ballpark in Richmond. I just built a $130 million ballpark. You should come to Richmond and check it out. I'll give you.
I definitely.
You come in and get a group from the Florida Hall of Fame, and I'll give you the owner's box one day. Come in as my guest. You fly, go down there and check it out. Also, Richmond's a great town, but great town. I love baseball. I love our fans. I love the people of Richmond. But dealing with politicians, I'd rather deal with Don King.
Well, listen, I'm going to talk to you more about baseball because I got something to talk to you about that. Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
And,
tomorrow, the Hall of Fame called me. They said, "What do you want as your walkout song?" I said, "Take me out to the ball game."
There you go.
Did you really?
Fantastic. I did. That's exactly what I said. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah,
I'll see you over the weekend.
Yeah,
I'm going to go watch the Knicks game. Let's go, Knicks. Go, New York. Go, New York.
Go.
Goodbye.